As the new U.S. administration takes office, there are concerns about the next steps in U.S. China relations and their impact on the global landscape. Will Trump's hardline policy toward China change under the Chinese Communist Party, CCP's slogan of community with shared future for mankind, a controversial propaganda used by Chinese leaders frequently in recent years? Since taking office on January 20th, American President Joe Biden has spoken with many world leaders, but not with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The CCP is anxious to see if the new Cold War between the United States and China, which began during the Trump era, will continue in the future. On February 2nd, Yangtze, director of the Central Foreign Affairs Commission of the CCP, delivered a video speech on U.S. China relations. Yang mainly proposed that China and the United States should build a new strategic consensus and hoped to take the Trump administration's China policy off the shelf. He also said that the U.S. should stop meddling in issues such as Hong Kong, Tibet, and Xinjiang. U.S.-based commentator Tang Jingyuan noted that when Biden came to power, Xi Jinping thought he had the upper hand, so he dared to say publicly that the time and the power were both on their side.
Perhaps after a period of time when the epidemic in the United States is under control, or that the entire U.S. domestic conflicts have basically subsided and so on, then perhaps it'll be the loss of his so-called strategic opportunity period for him. So this strategic opportunity period is a limited period in Xi Jinping's eyes. So I think this is one of the most fundamental reasons why he is so anxious.
Some commentators believe that the CCP authorities' dispatch of Yangtze to test the Biden administration's policy on China actually proves that the Trump administration touched a sore spot when it comes to treating the CCP.
Economy is the only thing that matters. China's economic volume is huge, but as we all know, it has come this far only because of the support of the United States and the international community, globalization and multilateralism in trade and economy. China's economy is highly dependent on external factors, and the economy has become a particularly important support for the stability of its regime. So if the United States continues on the path of Trump, the CCP will feel that it embarks on the same path that Reagan took to contain the Soviet Union, and that the national strength of the CCP may actually collapse along the way, which Xi Jinping knows very well.
U.S.-based independent scholar and columnist Ge Bidong believes that Yangtze has always been characterized by his sophistication and prudence in the CCP's foreign ministry, but this speech sounded as if the world leader was giving an ultimatum, which was apparently conveying Xi Jinping's original intention.
The CCP is now more worried than the US. As another outbreak of Wuhan virus comes, the international community will come together to sanction it, as well as the white-hot internal struggle within the party. The worst of all is the danger of economic collapse, which has led the CCP to hope for improved U.S.-China relations after Biden takes office. Therefore, the recent actions of the CCP are frequent and tough, but in fact they're the manifestation of inward timidness to strengthen its own courage.
Ge Bidong believes that the two parties of the U.S. are comparing with each other to see who is tougher against the CCP, which makes the CCP's usual tactics, both soft and hard, ineffective. The fact that such harsh words came out of Yang Jiechu's mouth shows that the CCP is indeed at its wits' end.
If we recall carefully, before this US presidential election, the CCP had a phrase called "staking the fate of the country," and this phrase means a lot. It has staked its fate on the US presidential election, apparently on Biden. However, due to the 4 major anti-communist mobilizations by the Trump administration in 2020, a bipartisan consensus has been reached to deal with the CCP. On the Taiwan issue, the US government continues to take a hard line, and Xi Jinping's face-to-face pressure on Biden has been rebuffed. Biden also condemned the military coup in Burma in a timely manner. The CCP suddenly realized that it had spent a lot of money on a gamble on its fate that would probably end with total failure, so it got a little anxious.
As anti-communist sentiment in the U.S. Congress has been on the rise in recent years, The CCP has been eager to improve U.S. China relations economically and diplomatically as soon as Biden took office. The bottom line is that it wants the U.S. to abandon its view of the CCP as its greatest strategic enemy. Former Deputy National Security Advisor Matthew Pottinger warned the Biden administration in a webinar not to fall into the trap of negotiating in good faith with the CCP. Due to some new restrictions on social media, our channel might be affected. If you'd like to stay tuned to our channel and to receive notifications and updates, please provide us with your email by clicking the link below. Thanks for your support.